Welcome to the Ascending Empaths podcast with Infinity. Well, here we are. Thanks for joining. Got some nice vibes going on here. A raging fire in the corner. One of my dogs right in front of us. There's Cora Dreamer. Hi, Bean. I can't tell if that thing... I could not tell if it was moving or not. It's been a weird day. Not weird, more intense than usual, I should say that. And I've definitely felt these energies before. It's been a while. And so here we are officially with my, I don't know, 4th podcast, Ascending Empaths podcast for healing and spiritual awakening. It's going to be a hodgepodge, and it's not going to be one a week. It might be more, it might be less. I have no idea. I go as guided, and it's been a lot lately. There is a lot going on, and we're leading up to this full moon. She hears my cat is meowing. One of my cats. Pretty boy. We have a full moon coming on February 1st, Sunday, 2026, and leading up to it is already coming through the guidance and the awareness coming through that we're headed towards a very second full moon of the year, a very very interesting time with the spiritual war, with energies, with what is transpiring. The thinning of the veil that happens with every full moon, the way that I'm seeing this is exponentially different and thinner than usual. Cora, come back here, babe. Come back here. Cora, come. You're fine. Cora, come. No, she's not coming back. Oh well, it's just you and me. Yeah, right. What I call the shenanigans of the dark side, when the veil gets thin around full moons, when people's programming, fears, illusions, and triggers and all this kind of stuff can get really, really amplified, and people are vulnerable, more vulnerable. So anyway, that came through very, very intensely today. A lot of people are on a precipice of ascension, of feeling, of understanding, of knowing, whatever, all of these different things. Healing, their healing process, their ascension process, understanding what it is to be an empath, a divine, what we call divine incarnate empath. And if you have yet to be, or go to my website, infiniteempath.com, and go to the empath section, link is going to be in this. And this is showing up for you either audio or video on YouTube. But just so you know, you can watch this on YouTube. Ooh, and we're going to start getting into some cards here from, these are the decks, and some very, very, very intense decks, these two, for sure. The Citadel. It's really an archetypes deck, and it's very, very magical. And I'm not even going to show you the other one yet. We're going to do this one. And we'll just see how it goes. We'll see what comes up, and we'll take it the way we usually go. So here is the deck. I'm going to adjust things just a little bit here to make it more comfortable for me for now, and I'll move things around. So bear with me. This is very impromptu. And right before my bath that is literally waiting for me. So, but like I said, it's been a very intense day with very intense energies coming through about this full moon coming up. Okay, I'm going to have to stitch this together because right when I said that it was 7:30, and I have an alarm at 7:30 to remind me of something that isn't a thing in the winter. But anyway, the air, unseen potential and hesitation. Look at this crown, these hands. The air, unseen potential, hesitation. That is really interesting with the full moon energies coming through right now. Oh, we have a couple that, oh, I can barely talk. Which is great for a podcast. Let's see what we got here. The twins. Oh, wow. Self-protection, dual natures, and the puppeteer. Whoa. Explanations and apologies, but holy shit, this puppeteer. We call the narcissist parasites that are controlled by the dark side the puppet masters. And this is making a lot of sense with what I'm feeling when it comes to this full moon and the shenanigans. The twins, we have the dark side and the light side, the mirror of illusions and reality. And the puppeteer and the air so far, unseen potential and hesitation. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That is the fight. That is the battle. What the potential that isn't yet and yeah. for sure. Okay, babe, you got to get off me though. I can't have you on me this whole time. And oh my gosh, everything got kind of tossed around with cards and stuff when I had to get up. Oh, how annoying. Oh, there they are. Holy moly. Like, seriously, I can't even with the energy today and everything going on. This just illustrates, okay? I can't edit this out. It is what it is. But again, okay, we're settled and this all makes a lot of sense. We have the puppeteer, and as I was saying, the puppet master parasite, the narcissist, is the puppet master. And basically, I've never seen this card before. We have the twins and we have the heir. Really, what we're seeing here is a real illustration of what the spiritual war is. Again, with the heir, unseen potential and hesitation. Yeah. Oh my God. That is just, I can't even with this. Okay. Because the faith factor versus the fear factor is really what this is about. And the fact that it's the heir, as in royalty, the heir to the throne, etc., etc. So let's just dive right in with this, because it's really a lot that's going on. And let's figure out where this is. Oh, good Lord. I wish I had more light right now. Yeah, I'm going to pause this real quick. All right, so we're back with the heir here. I needed more light. And the flashlight that I got is that like ridiculous 10 million lumen. I can't. Blew my eyeballs out of my head. So I got my little rinky-dink flashlight here so I can actually read without the brightness killing us. We're talking here about the heir. We're getting right into it with this first card that I pulled and what sets the stage for everything. Unseen potential. Why is it doing that? See what I can do here with this. There we go. Let's do that. Okay. Unseen potential and hesitation with the heir. So let's read about it and get into it here. Whoa. Okay. I swear. I can't with the weirdness of today and everything. Hang in there, people. Here we go. The heir. A crown sits on a pedestal full of waiting potential. Years of preparing for a role have led to this moment. The crown is power. It is fulfillment. But it is also a responsibility that will affect every part of the heir's future. The heir has known that this day will come. And yet it feels like a lifetime of learning could never have prepared them for stepping into this role. The weight of expectation is a heavy mantle, but there's no turning back from it now. Let me see if I can show you here. If it will focus. Here we go. Okay, we'll leave it at that. The end of every journey signals the beginning of a new one, and it's natural to still feel uncertain about this new path in front of you. It may be hesitating. You may be hesitating. Sorry, I have to bring it back over here. It's too hard to read over there. You may be hesitating, but trust that you've already laid the groundwork to make this opportunity the most beneficial that it can be. The rewards that will come are worth this moment of uncertainty. And in reverse, even though it didn't come up in reverse, this is what it says. You're not yet ready to accept the fact that you've reached the end of one journey. The beginning of the next is strange and unfamiliar to you. Looking forward feels empty, as though you're not yet ready to let go of the past. What is missing? It may be time to tie up some loose ends before moving forward. So it could be both of these things. I'm just processing this here. The crown sits on a pedestal full of waiting potential. Years of preparing for a role have led to this moment. The crown is power. It is fulfillment, but it is also responsibility that will affect every part of the heir's future. The heir has known that this day will come, and yet it feels like a lifetime of learning could never have prepared them for stepping into this role. The weight of expectation is a heavy mantle, but there's no turning back from it now. Oh, and here's my cat, of course, wanting to sit on me. Hi. Yeah. Oh, you're heavy and big. Mwah. The end of every journey signals the beginning of a new one, and it's natural to feel uncertain about this new path in front of you. You may be hesitating, but trust that you've already laid the groundwork to make this opportunity the most beneficial it can be. The rewards that will come are worth this moment of uncertainty. There is a real shift, a real paradigm shift that wants to happen, desperately wants to happen. And it really, this full moon, it's like, what side are you on of where the light and the dark is, of where you're being, of what is influencing you. So next we have the twins. We have these two geese here. Looks like full moon and new moon energies, self-protection and dual natures. Self-protection and dual natures. Very interesting. Let's see what we get here with the twins. First I gotta find where to even, because the way this all of this is set up with this deck is very different than most. It's all by groups, and that is not the same group. Ow! Can we get, oh my gosh, my cat really digging his nails in me. Ow! Okay, you need to stop that. The twins are on page 144. So we had page 36 with the air, and the twins are on page 144, and that is with the troop, internal thoughts and identity. And the air was, let's just go back to that real quick. That is the group of the court, achievement, and responsibility. So the twins are on page 144. Let's find that real quick. God, the shenanigans. Ow! Okay, off of me. Fucking cat. Not controlling himself and digging his nails right into me, and that was really painful. Okay, the twins. So let's do it here. The twins. The quiet courtyard, the soft murmur of a nearby tea shop, the call of songbirds, and a blazing argument. Shattering the peace. Sorry, that's not a question. Shattering the peace. I'm going to start over here. Sorry. A quiet courtyard, a soft murmur of a nearby tea shop, a call of songbirds. So, and then out of nowhere, a blazing argument, shattering the peace. The twins were born at the same time, but they couldn't be more different. The first, a dreamer, charming and surrounded by friends. The other, more worldly, but dogged by life's injustices and feelings of inadequacy. Each twin feels the pressure to measure up to their sibling, but that pressure is entirely internal. Neither is judging the other, only themselves. This card relates to a specific relationship in your life. You and the other person are bound together, but past traumas are blocking your ability to make this a harmonious relationship. Be kind and take time to reassess your behavior. Are you really being fair to the other person? How are you continuing old habits or resentments? There is kindness in acknowledging that we're all human. And then in reversed, the relationship isn't with another, but with yourself. What was in balance is now off kilter. The two sides of you are warring, making it hard to make decisions, or perhaps you're struggling to balance periods of manic productivity with sluggish demotivation. It's time to bring your energy back into balance and work out a happy medium. Shocker. So this can also be both things. This could be about an external relationship, or the external relationship that we have to the collective, how we feel and interface and interact with it, the field of the collective. As you can see right here, I appear to be alone, except for me and my cat right here. But the reality is that there's a lot more going on in this field, that there's a lot more present. Aside from that I'm connected to the collective, and it's influencing me, I'm influencing it. It's the relationship of understanding that that is happening regardless of if we're physically in a crowd or not. The illusion is that I'm alone, and that's not reality. In reality, I'm not alone. And I'm not only in my own presence here with my cat. There's a lot more going on. So there's that. This is about very specific other relationships that we have in our lives that carry past traumas and fears, most specifically hurt feelings, judgment, shame, inadequacy. That was the big thing about the twins here. They're both feeling inadequate to each other or out of sync or harmony. They're not seeing each other. They're seeing themselves as they think they're being seen. Wow. This is about how we can be off kilter, how we can be disharmonious within our own beingness, how we can feel overwhelmed and triggered and upset and angry and influenced by situations, experiences, people, external stimuli. The dark side of the spiritual war, the programming, the illusions, the stories. This is about the light and the dark, period. Full stop. And how we interface with that within ourselves, mirrored within the relationships that we have with other people, especially those that we're most strongly corded to in these lifetimes, because there is a lot of healing that has to come from these relationships, and the sooner we can get on with that, the better. And this whole thing about the other side, our ancestors, and aligning with how they can help us, that is coming through here quite a lot in between the air and the twins. And our soul family who have crossed over, the thinning veil, and how they are and need to stand with us to help with protecting us and keeping us aware of what is all going on as much as possible. Depending on our consciousness, but in any event, just knowing that we have our crossed over loved ones. You may know very specifically who they are, you may not. It really isn't necessary to know them specifically. I'm going to link my recent article about this whole experience that I had very, very recently with Anubis and my ex-husband, my father, and my ex-father-in-law, all crossed over. Recently deceased is my ex-husband, who I haven't talked to in a very, very long time. Very toxic relationship. Anyway, very important that you take a look at that article. I posted it on X and I didn't duplicate it anywhere I wasn't guided to. It's very contained in that space. So I will link that here. And next we're going to get right into the puppeteer, because the puppeteer and the puppet master is what we refer to the parasite of narcissists and what narcissists are, the puppet master, and the dark side influencing the parasitic puppet masters at this time, and they tend to really get more influenced for shenanigans and to trigger negative energy and episodes and things like this around the full moon, most definitely. Yeah. Card number or on page number 36, the puppeteer, explanations, apologies. Really interesting with the puppeteer. So it's let's see here. $130. Oh my gosh, why can't I get to it? This is crazy. I literally cannot pull these pages apart to get to it. It is the weirdest thing right now. Okay. Finally. Wow. Holy shit. I mean, it's just some serious energy here going on. The puppeteer. Soft curls of sawdust litter the floor, and the scent of wood shavings fills the air. Shelves, cupboards, and tabletops are covered with wooden figures, some half assembled, some not yet fully carved, each one lovingly made and tenderly painted. The puppeteer does not know the fear of being alone. When loneliness calls, they simply create their own company. But these puppets will never be the equal of human companionship, and though they will not admit it to themselves, the puppeteer will never be fully satisfied. Whoa, okay. Conjuring real social skills can be a challenge. People have their own feelings and their own lives, and it's easy to say or do the wrong thing. You're not the only person to have made an embarrassing mistake in the past, so own up to it and smooth things over. An apology or explanation is a small price to pay to maintain an important relationship. And in reverse, you may have made the first steps towards apologizing, or perhaps you're still too afraid to speak up and admit that you were wrong. Whatever the situation, there is an element of resentment that may not be possible to forgive or forget. Sometimes the best thing is to accept that things are irredeemable and move on separately. Whoa. Okay, so this is so multi-layered. It is fucking bananas. Oh my God, I can't right now. Let me just process here real quick everything that this just opened up and brought in and is showing me, because it is a lot. This card is really very, very plainly talking about how the dark side will never stop coming for us. Puppeteer will never be fully satisfied. it will only and always want more. All of it, all of you, to consume you, to control you, to completely own you. And the dark side, that's what this black hand is. Humanity, you, me, everybody, especially those who aren't awake, are these people floating around here that the hand, the dark hand, wants to control. And there's a real push coming with this full moon that is going to shift things one way or the other. And it really will be like this says here. Oh, great. Now this light. Seriously? Wow. Sometimes the best thing is to accept that things are irredeemable and move on separately. There's going to be a real shift in consciousness with people, in relationships, in things separating in a really, really big way, in a really profound way. But we're reminded here that the twins, no matter how far away they are from each other, they're always connected. Once the air, always the air. No one can take away, and nothing, no matter how crazy shit gets, your divinity, your capacity to, and until you're dead, until you die, there's still room and space for you to wake up fully, more and more, or to just wake up. There's space for anybody to get conscious while you're still alive. However, time is finite, and the sooner that we can stop being these people being controlled, these floaty people, and there is some serious shit going down with this. This full moon is really that whole thing about the story with the air. Let's go back to that really quick. I'm being guided to go back to that really quick. Honestly, with this flashlight, I literally... Oh my God. I don't know what is going on with that. Here. Accept the fact that you've reached the end of one journey and beginning the next. This precipice of a new branch in time, of a new chapter, of a new beginning. This full moon is either going to illuminate the way, or it's going to let in the dark side and cause some disturbance, chaos, disruption, destruction, distraction more than anything. Chaos and distraction is what the dark side runs on. So it's really interesting here, the juxtaposition of these cards here. The air, look at where the hands are, the white hands with the crown, and then here we have the dark hand and these people and all this energy with the, and just the, like, it's just, look at the juxtaposition that is going on here. Pay attention to that. Is what I'm guided to tell you. The black and the white of it. And that is kind of how we have what we have here with the twins. There's two sides of you, always, the awake and the asleep side, no matter what. And the layers of that. If you have not seen the movie Inception, I'm being guided, or watch it again. Stay awake through the whole thing. It's about being in the dream. We have two more cards coming up together that separated themselves from the rest of the deck on their own. The Acolyte and the Assassin. Look at that. Holy goodness. Oh my God. The Acolyte. New projects and learning. The Assassin, ruthlessness, conviction. So let us move on. Where did that book go? Oh, my cat jumping back on here. The Acolyte. Let's start there. I've gotten this card before. It is okay, the Assassin is on 26. So we have, here we go. The Acolyte should be here, yeah. See the Academy, development and growth. The Acolyte is on 56, and then we have the Assassin on 26. So 56 first. Sorry. So the Acolyte. Turn it like this. And give us a look there. In case you want to pause the video, you can. Whew. Except for the problem is that I really do need extra light to be able to see what I'm seeing here. And I either have too much or too little of it. It's kind of frustrating. Holy moly, that is really bright. But it is what it is. Trying to, the other one won't turn on at all now. Okay, nothing can stop me. Okay, try to filter it. There we go. That's better. Okay, I figured it out. Beyond the awe-inspiring hush of the temple is a rush of productivity. Students in ill-fitting robes rush past, arms full of books, or sit in quiet rows as they study their scriptures. Under the priest's wise guidance, the acolyte is eager to begin their journey of learning. They fear that they'll never be good enough to step into their role ahead of them. Even so, they are excited for the world that is opening up to them, and they're determined to embrace it with conviction. It's kind of like, see those hands embracing. Looks like that little pot. Pretty sure we get into it here. If it feels like you're not making progress lately, it might be time to think about learning something new and expanding your horizons. Take up a hobby, a new class, or fresh experience. You'll enjoy the rewards immediately. Learning is an infinite journey. Embracing the fun of new experiences will provide the fresh perspective you need. And reversed, this card shows an acolyte who has not progressed as fast as their peers. Though you've been working hard, you're not yet where you hoped to be. Just remember that this work hasn't been for nothing. Everything you've learned is still helping you to grow and reach your goals. It just hasn't come to fruition yet. Don't let yourself get overwhelmed. Don't let yourself, oh my gosh, this friggin' flashlight. Don't let yourself get overwhelmed with the underwhelming bits that haven't yet materialized or shown themselves. It's like there's the seed, and the acolyte is about understanding all the seeds that have been planted, that just being where you are is an accomplishment. Being in this present moment, receiving what you're receiving is a lot. And sometimes that's the work in itself. That's the progress, even though it doesn't look like anything's happening and you're just showing up. And it's like, all right, I'm showing up, but I'm waiting for the big push. I'm waiting for the thing to reveal itself. I'm waiting for the big shift and the big change to happen. It's about learning that it is the process and it is happening at the same time. Let us not forget the assassin here. The assassin. Let's take a look here at the assassin on 26, right? So we had 26 and, almost directly to it. So let me get this thing going again here so I can have enough light to read. The assassin. The streets are deathly silent, and even the moon has hidden itself from view. The streets are deathly silent, and even the moon has hidden itself from view. Shadows are dark, deep, and hungry, and from behind you, the whisper of steel, the press of a blade to your neck. The assassin has accepted that there are some things that simply must be done, no matter their personal feelings. In order to do what is required of them, they have had to harden their heart. But they now understand that this hardness does not affect their worth as a person. Wow. What the hell? It's time for you to learn the same lesson. You are facing a difficult decision, and it feels like there's no right answers, but your instinct is telling you what you must do, even if you don't want to do it. So instead of dragging your feet, get it over with quickly. There's relief to be found on the other side of the fallout. Good Lord. Reverse. The assassin knows that relief comes after completing an unpleasant task quickly. Perhaps you've taken things too far and cut too many ties, leaving you alone and unsupported. It's time to reassess your coping methods and start rebuilding bridges, not burning them. Wow. This is truly about discerning what needs to stay and what needs to go, what is in shadow and what is in light as we get to this full moon. And discerning that quickly is going to be the difference between chaos and peace, truly. And choosing yourself, knowing that letting go of whatever needs to go, if that's the fact, if that's the case, that it truly is either you or them, and you always need to pick you. The assassin is never going to go, okay, well then you kill me. Yes, I'm planning on killing you because that's the end of the fucking road for you. This is it. I'm sent to end you. That's the energy of the assassin. I'm sent to end you. You're not sent to end me. You're not here to end me. I'm here to end you. But maybe there's two assassins coming at each other. Like there's this whole thing like hire two private investigators and have them both in like searching and stalking and following each other kind of thing. Not knowing what they're doing. Oh my God. Again, it's that mirror. It's that twin energy. It's two sides of the same coin. Maybe there's not just the one assassin. Maybe you're being assassinated and you're the assassin at the same time. You're not the only assassin in the room. It's not, it's like that kind of energy. It's very, very fucking cutthroat, just like the card says. It's not personal. It's what we fucking do here. It's who we are. Like the puppeteer creates puppets to control. It's what the puppeteer does. This is very similar. And the puppeteer and the assassin coming up with the acolyte and the heir and the twins? Are you fucking kidding me right now with these cards? Seriously. Like, you've got the assassin. Take a look at this card. Look at those blades coming right at you. Look at it, goes bone deep. It's all bones. It's to the core. Look at that third eye. It's the assassin, not the murderer. The assassin knows, the assassin sees, the assassin has fucking purpose. It's not the murderer. It's not the psycho. It's not the monster, it's the assassin. Ruthlessness, conviction. You have to be fucking ruthless and have conviction. If you think you're going to evolve without opposition to try to stop you, to have your own fucking bullshit and illusions and fears, to not be puppeteered against yourself, the acolyte knows I need to pay attention to what's going on around me. Keep myself in the temple, in school. This is about being in temple of awareness, of higher consciousness. It's not church. It's the acolyte's temple. There's a difference between these. And the air. It's like, it's now or never, honey. The literally, look at these two cards between the acolyte and the air. Honestly. And then the assassin. The assassin. Jesus. The assassin is the puppeteer. And the puppeteer here, this is the dark side. The dark side wants to end us at the end of the day, or use us as much as possible and then end us. Let us be so distracted with the smoke. Let there be so much of that kindling at the puppet. Remember, the puppeteer has all of these wood shavings and shit. Oh God, this is making my insides fucking quake right now. Seriously. There is so much going on here. And it's all about the light and the dark, your perception, what you need to assassinate, what you need to cut the throat of, to be cunning, to be ruthless, to not allow anything or anyone to stand in your way, to create smoke and shadow and illusion and bullshit. And if you see it, to call it out to yourself. Know that there's the dark side wanting to manipulate, control, and ultimately stalk you, end you, kill you, cut your throat. Because you're dangerous. And we have here scales going from the old to the new. This is not the first time I've seen the image of scales today. And when all of this started in my healing session earlier, depicting the old new and the new you, shifting from one set of rules and limitations and literal framework. The material matrix is a framework of right angles to keep you in corners, to keep you stuck. And the scales, the merchant, self-worth and trade All right, let's see what we get here. Does this work again? No? Honestly, what's going on here with the light is just really too funny. The Merchant, 96. Oh, imagine that. Here we are, the Merchant. Now let's take a look at the Merchant. We've got crystals here, and we've got money here. Self-worth and trade. So, okay. The Merchant. Coins change hands. Deals are struck. A golden scale tilts as goods are weighed. The Merchant greets everyone with a smile, proud in the knowledge that their service benefits others. They know what others have to offer and what they want in exchange. And often the Merchant knows what their customers need before they do. You've got plenty to offer yourself and other people, and sometimes it's beneficial to remind yourself exactly what you've got in stock. If you feel like you're being taken advantage of, raise your prices, in quotes, or maybe your figurative wares would be better appreciated elsewhere. Reversed, life is full of hagglers, and there are those around you who demand without offering anything in return. You're the only one who can decide what you are and aren't willing to give. Find the strength to say no when needed, and use that time for yourself instead. Not letting go of your precious energy without divine reciprocity, and not being afraid to weigh what's going on in all of your relationships. Is it in balance? Is it in the light? Does it make sense? What am I doing here? How is this working? And if there's shadow and darkness attached in some way, if there isn't being seen and appreciated, and even worse, like gaslit. But again, it's that narcissist puppeteering energy. Just, it's like, expect any and all narcissists, anyone who actually has that energy attached to them. So anyone who is under the influence or in the domain and around narcissists, literally from the last few days and leading into this full moon, by proxy and by proximity to narcissists and people who are parasitic, people who are still asleep and firmly embedded in the material matrix, are seriously going to be influenced to cause chaos, to cause disruption, to be in an off-kilter, off-balance sort of way about them. And they're going to want to influence, especially they're going to be triggered and moved to come against those of us who are in alignment with the light, are awakening, are healing, are in that state of being. Like, just watch your six. Be careful what you're paying attention to. This is about, like, look, there is a thing with your time and your energy. That's all going on, but it's about really our connections and and where the scales are in, and with people in our lives, and what we're being, and how we're being influenced, or how people are being influenced by dark side attacks, psychic attack, negative energies. The veil is thinning exponentially right now. And as it moves towards this full moon, like, it's just such a big deal. And this card is talking about this is about knowing and knowing what and how others are pulling from your energy, pulling from your beingness, from your body, pulling and taking from you, and what you're allowing to be taken from you, and what is the exchange, and how is that happening? It could be about money. It could be about being a client or having clients. It could be about a love relationship, friendships. This could be about how you see yourself, and being aware of where the dark side, and how the dark side is going to try to come in and take you and pull you out and off of balance. Because remember, this is, at the end of the day, this is about like these scales. And see the balance there? Self-worth and trade. Your consciousness, your awareness, your sovereignty, your time, your energy, that is your greatest asset. Those things are your greatest assets. Your consciousness, your sovereignty, your attention, your energy, your time. These are your greatest assets. How are they being used? Are things in balance? What is out of balance? That's what this is about. And pay attention to what's taking it out of balance. It's really important it's kind of like if a rocket ship was going to launch, that is what's happening with this full moon. It's happening exactly, or one day from the February Stargate is on 2/2. Things are going to be really explosive. And it is literally like walking onto a rocket ship and just standing there, and it's like 10, 9, 8, 7, and it's counting down, and this thing is going to just go. This rocket ship is going to go, and you're not strapped in. So this is about strapping in. Everything about this, about all of this energy to get today, this coming through, everything about this full moon, it is about strapping in, because, and being aware of everything that's going on, staying in balance, seeing the dark and the light, the shadow, knowing that a lot is processing to be aware of, to learn. It's a new beginning. It's a new paradigm. This crown, this is about a new paradigm. This is about a paradigm shift. And it's really gonna happen one way or the other with this moon, this full moon. And it's not about, this is not about fear. It's not, this is about preparing oneself for what is in play already. Not what might happen, but what is happening. This is happening right now. All of this is happening. Everything that I've talked about already, this is happening. This energy here is happening. This is a new beginning. This full moon is major, and people are going to learn, or they're going to be pulled further in the temple, or they're going to be blown out of it. The dark side, the puppeteer, the puppet masters, all of this energy coming through to really this assassin energy, the balancing, the twins, all of this is about the spiritual war, the thinning of the veil, consciousness itself, the collective experience, and the individual perception of what is going on. Something is going to really pop. And it's coming with this full moon. It's happening already. And it's the kind of thing that it's not like, okay, try to avoid it. There's no avoiding it. It's like the sun is coming up. You can't avoid the sun coming up. The sun is 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 coming up. There's something very different that is starting, that has been put in motion, and it's moving. It's a countdown to the new beginning. And every day is the countdown to that full moon, to the rocket ship launching. That's what I'm seeing here. And what I mean by that is there's a real shift in the paradigm happening with this full moon. It's kind of like, it's that red pill kind of moment. It's either further into the matrix or waking up in a whole new way. The further into the matrix path is the fear-based material matrix, coming up with a lot of illusion, a lot of fear stuff, a lot of that kind of energy, just the shit, the triggers, the chaos, the distortions that narcissists, that the dark side and parasitic people and all of that. And if you have yet to read The Spiritual War, a guide that I have in my Ascension portal, or if you started but didn't finish and got to a certain point, like, it needs to be finished. It needs to be started and completed for you to fully understand what is going on. And it talks about the dark side, but it talks about the light and how to align and how to manage yourself, especially in times like these. So please, 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 please follow follow the light to get more awareness. The acolyte energy is about learning. It's about knowing that you need to learn about this stuff, not just having an idea or thinking that you know about the spiritual war. Even if you've been around me for a long time and you've heard me talk about it, make room to read this guide completely, or put it in a speech app and let it talk to you. It doesn't matter. Just get through it. Just consume what is there, because it is very important. All of this is about the spiritual war. This is a war over your sovereignty and your consciousness, and you need to understand what that means. That is very important. And it's only becoming more and more important. And like I said, if you think you're going to get through ascension and it just means being more psychic or tapping into the divine more, and that it's not very firmly, that it doesn't mean anything to do with spiritual war stuff, that you are not being realistic or understanding what is happening in reality. And that's spiritual bypassing. This is the kind of thing we need to hit and get into very head on. Very head on. And see what tries to pull you away from being present, from aligning, from doing the work you need to do, from completing things, from consuming everything that needs to be consumed or to do and to process that you're aware of. I can't, in this right here and now, generally speaking, to everybody, map that out for you. We can have an individual session if you want. I have very limited space for sure, but you should know these things for yourself. More is going to be available to help on a solo, driven type of situation that I'm being guided to create, and we'll have that available as soon as possible. Just know that you can, if you're interested in joining my Soul Quest program, or check out the Soul Quest program, it is available to join at any time, and to reach out if that's what you want to do. I'm in the process of setting up that kind of system, because I have a beginning and end system, and then I'm integrating it with a start anytime system, and those things happening concurrently with everything else. And so to get the most awareness about what is going on, what needs your direction, your attention, your prioritizing, you understanding where you've been past, present, and future, or where things are going, for you to be as aligned as you can possibly be, especially with all of this going on in this tug of war with the spiritual war. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to get one last card, and it is from the Anubis Oracle. So here we go. I'm going to put this here on camera. That's what, whoops, let me turn that over so you can see that. The Anubis Oracle. Very, very potent energies here. Rebirthing, Phoenix, temple, ancient Egyptian codes and such that are connected with all of that Phoenix blueprint business. So if you've been around, if you did the Phoenix blueprint work with me in November and December, that's what we're talking about here. We have card number 16, Wadjet, life force energy, purification, divine awakener. So the serpent, the snake, very much in alignment with Phoenix energies. Here we have literally life force energy, purification, divine awakener, Wadjet, card number 16. We have that third eye there. Take a look at that. So let's find and read and then wrap this up. Oh, wow. Okay, here we go. And it's okay. Whew. Wadjet, life force energy, purification, divine awakener. Wadjet, the great cobra serpent goddess, is ancient. She is closely associated with Makbet, Mother Mut. She was a fierce protector of children and later of pharaohs. From her position on the living Uranus crown, she spit fire at Pharaoh's enemies. You will find her upon Sekhmet's diadem as well. Okay. And Sekhmet, the great healer. Okay. Wadjet spirals her way into our lives, opening and clearing our chakra centers with her kundalini or life force energy. She is a daunting and sometimes fearsome presence. When this divine awakener moves through us, she purifies our motives and gives us the gift of humility, the most important characteristic that she looks for as we approach her. This is fascinating. To receive her blessings in a merciful way, we must deal with issues around ignorance, greed, and arrogance. We can learn from wisdom or learn from woe. But Wadjet assures us that we will learn her lessons and take great responsibility for our thoughts and actions in the world. She reminds us that it's not now or never, but now or later. If you have drawn this card, your ego may be undergoing a transformation or an adjustment that will balance your energy so that you can handle the power of this goddess. You may be experiencing a potent purification process that can express itself as a kundalini awakening. Whoa. Be prepared for a major shift in consciousness, leading you from ignorance and greed to a more enlightened awareness. You may wish to make a written inventory of whatever comes to mind that you have been ignoring. Note anything you've been acting out through inappropriate hunger or addictive ways. Note anything you've been acting out through inappropriate hunger or addictive ways. These are now ready to disintegrate and dissolve as you shift to a more enlightened way of being. If you're hitting a wall or bottoming out in a particular situation, you can call on Wadjet to help you break through to the other side. Okay, so Wadjet is about transformation, is about awakening to literally it's about awakening to understanding how we have been programmed and how we've been distracted by addiction, by being out of balance. Humility and ego are coming up here to balance out humility and ego. Identity. That's part of the Soul Quest program too, is your true identity, is understanding where you've been, where you are, and where you're going, and where your identity is now, where it's meant to be, and really creating a path for yourself to be conscious. This is about, and this whole thing, this battle of consciousness, this battle between asleep and awake, and this life force energy, this Kundalini energy, is extremely potent. That explosion, that rocket ship, this is making sense here with this card for sure, because that Kundalini energy is extremely explosive. And this full moon coming in with Kundalini energy, with Wadjet saying, be humble yourself, find your humility to know what you do not know, that you need to wake up, that there is much to learn. Either accept that or resist that. You're one or the other. Either you think you're great where you are, then great, you are where you are. You need to understand that for yourself, if that's the case. But Wadjet is coming through and is saying, for those who know that soul reclamation, beyond soul connection, beyond just tapping in and being aware, being psychic, being and knowing that you're being guided, this passivity, this is about, Kundalini energy is about force. It's about tapping in with the most creative, abundant, conscious truth energy that exists in creation. And we have that available to us. It's either we are on that trajectory and we're ready to get out of our own way, to humble ourselves. And the other thing that's coming through is the card that talked about like making amends and either like the whole apologizing thing. It's like you need to see where you got off track with being an ego, being afraid, not staying on track, needing to come back to the path and just humble yourself, to whomever, that it can be a lot of different things. This is very multifaceted, but it really is about being honest with where you've been, where you are, and where you want to go. It's like, don't miss out just because you're embarrassed. Don't miss out because you made a misstep, or you weren't in full alignment, that you didn't stay in the light. Whatever that it is, like, it happens. Don't continue to let the dark and the shadow keep you away from the light because of whatever happened in the past. There's always room to find yourself back in with the light. Wadjet doesn't care about the past. Wadjet tells me, don't care about the past. Don't care how anybody behaved, how the dark side influenced them in the past to stay away, to separate, to go on another road away from what I've been guided to provide here. if anybody wants to realign themselves with me, to come back and be with me and work with me, Wajet says, all you need is humility to be like, hey, I was gone, now I'm back, I'm ready to get back to work in the way that we work here, and especially given what is going on and what is happening, what is in play, what is coming. There's no real missteps. There's nothing really to apologize for, is the other thing. It's more like just be real about where you are, where you've been, where you want to go, what happened, where your consciousness is, where you've been distracted, where you were taken into chaos or away or into whatever it is. Whatever that you've had to go through to get to where you are, to move through in a much more defined way when it comes to your awakening, to be humble in that, to step away from ego is a healing in itself. To just say, I surrender. Like, I resisted, I was in competition, I didn't want to invest time, energy, effort, I thought I could get around it, whatever. Whether that has to do with me personally as infinity and you worked with me in the past or not, or you're new and you had a whole thing on your own, I'm just saying, it's like, no matter what it is, we have to be, if we're not honest with ourselves, then we're really, 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 really off track. We're really being influenced to be in denial, to fuck with ourselves, to limit ourselves. We have to be honest with where we're not showing, with where we've allowed ourselves to be distracted by things that, or that sometimes there's like this side quest that we need to explore. And sometimes we need distraction. Sometimes people need to get away from the direct course and go off in this other direction for who knows how long. I don't know. Everybody has their own path to figure out. But what's coming through now is we're reaching a threshold where if you are in the pool of and in the vicinity of conscious awakening, the divine awakener is going to be felt by you and is asking you to get humble in seeing yourself clearly of where you need to adjust what you're doing with yourself, with your time, with your effort, with your energy, with your priorities, with your money, with your divine life force, and what has a hold on it, what is consuming it, what is influencing it. And get fucking real. At the end of the day, this is about getting real with where you have been, where you are, and where you know you need to go. The past is the past, but the past has dictated where you are now so you can know more and understand more, really. Sometimes we need more evidence of the war to experience more dissonance and chaos and separation, or to see it play out and be distracted by it a little bit more. It's different for everybody, just how this plays out. But at the end of the day, and what this is really bringing us to, is you need to be humble and see yourself honestly, where you are, where you've been, and where you need to go for yourself. You need to answer that for yourself. Something like the Soul Quest program, working with me, can help define that, can help bring that to light, can help bring in your divine counterparts to make it clearer, to make it more stable for you. And the Soul Quest program and the newly constructed Phoenix programs are going to come into creation and be available very, very soon. Things are turning over to allow people to get into this work in a very amazing, magical way that I've been working on for a long time now. And now this is just one way and one path, and if you're listening to me for this long, there's a reason. But in any event, aside from all that, really the clarity of this culmination, this catalyst moment that we're inching towards with this new month, the second month, especially right after the full moon, is like the big, it's like the lightning and the thunder is what is coming with this full moon. And I'm going to leave it at that. We've got the lightning with the full moon on the 1st, and we've got the thunder on the 2nd, and the rattle that comes from that, that's meant to shake people awake, or it's gonna make their house fall on top of them, and they're gonna be influenced by the chaos that the dark side is working on unleashing. I don't know what it is, but it feels significant. And that's as much as I can say for it. There's been all of these messages through all of these cards being very, very specific about what is happening here. At the end of the day, it is about if you're ready to align with the light, to see the truth. Are you ready to be and feel and get into balance? Where is the truth, the self-worth, the light and the dark, and this whole process of what's happening with this illumination, with this moon and new beginnings, being aware that there's so much yet to literally unfold, to learn. To be the acolyte is to just want to take as much as could possibly be there. The air, the crown, the paradigm shift, to be in those hands, the white hands of the light and the crown, that pedestal energy, the new beginnings, unseen forces. See the hesitation between this life and that life, the past and the present, that threshold energy where most people are the most vulnerable, because in that threshold between the old new and the new you, where your third eye is cracking open, your crown is receiving, all of this is about to explode, the rocket ship is taking off, is when the shakiness can be the most, and people can start to get very fearful. And that's where the dark side will come in to take advantage of that. And that's all happening simultaneously, and especially with this full moon. So it's like, which are you? Are you the assassin? Clear, cunning, ruthless, determined, because you know what needs to be seen, what needs to be cut, what needs to be done, Or are you the one being assassinated? Figuratively, energetically, spiritually, mentally. How is this going to, how is this going to come into play for each and every one of us? How are we going to see that on either side? And again, to know the difference, the balance, the twins. I mean, this energy, oh my gosh, this energy, this dualistic mirrored energy here that is showing up again and again and again. We have the twins and the merchant. We have the acolyte and the heir. And then we have the assassin and the puppeteer. And then at the end of the day, we have Wadjet, life force energy, the great awakener. The dualistic nature of our reality. The asleep to the awake. The light to the dark. When this divine awakener moves through us, she purifies our motives and gives us the gift of humility, the most important characteristic that she looks for as we approach her. She is the doorway, the threshold to consciousness, to awareness, to understanding. There's that responsibility. Remember, that was the heir. That's what was said about the heir. There's a responsibility here. That's extremely important to remember. Years of preparing for a role have led to this moment. The crown is power. It is fulfillment. But it is also responsibility that will affect every part of the heir's future. This crown means when I put this crown on, that I am ready for the responsibility of activating my full potential. And knowing from this moment on, it changes everything. The paradigm shifts. And I can't be both before and after this at the same time. It's either I accept this responsibility, I wear the crown with humility, stepping into the role. The heir has known that this day will come, and yet it feels like a lifetime of learning could never have prepared them for stepping into this role. The weight of expectation is a heavy mantle, but there's no turning back from it now. It's like that's it. That's the precipice that we talked about at the beginning, inching closer and closer and closer. It's like it's going to go this way or it's going to go that way. You're ready for what's coming, or you're running from what's coming. You're letting the fear take you away because the weight of it, the responsibility of it, the crown of the heir, the crown of your divinity, literally the crown of awakening, the glow of ascension that comes through the crown chakra being open. What is depicted in so many artworks of that crown, of that halo of energy, right? And that's what it is. It's like you can't, it's like you cannot it's either that is what you're grasping and accepting and fully taking responsibility for yourself, knowing you have a lot to learn, knowing you have to make a lot of choices, knowing you have to see and your self-worth. Knowing that there are forces like the puppeteer, the puppet masters, the dark side that will try to rip that crown off your head. Okay, that's it. That's all, and that's it. This is really, really a lot and very serious, but also very exciting. And I hope that for anybody who's listening to this, who's watching this, who's feeling this, who understands what is happening, who can resonate with this in your own life, that you see this for what it is. This is not drama. This is not me being hyperbolic. This is not me needing attention or anything else. This is about the spiritual war, what is really taking place, what is coming and happening right now, and needing to be conscious of it. Again, there is a tug of war. You're in the middle of it. Your consciousness, your awareness, your pure desire for the truth and being truthful with yourself and knowing where you're being guided and being humble with yourself, with asking for help, saying out loud to the divine, to your divine guides and guardians, take me, guide me, show me. I surrender to the process. I want to move forward. I need help. I can't do this alone. I know there is an easier way. Help me, show me, take me, guide me, heal me, help me heal myself, help me know, help me learn. I want to move forward in this consciously, aware, in the truth, in the light. I don't want to be controlled by chaos and distortion and pain and fear and judgment and shame and guilt and separation and the past and what all of this web of stories and distortion and pain in different ways, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, connected to all of these different relationships and people. It's like cut cords, reset cords, clear the air, clear the energy, get rid of distortion, have the intention to align with yourself as truly, as deeply, as in alignment with your soul, with your guides and guardians as you possibly can. It's just like, this is what's needed right now in a really conscious way for however and whatever that means for you. At whatever stage and level you are, it's not about being any place other than where you are. It's just about seeing this for what it is. And again, I point you to the Soul Quest program. I point you to the Ascension portal where you can get to the spiritual war doc and make sure that you read the entire thing. If you not have done that already, please do that as soon as possible. That is not for me. That is for you. It is by donation. You can pay whatever you want before, during, and after you read it. It is, I spent a lot of time very concentrated putting that together back in September of 2025 during the corridor of eclipses, knowing that people needed that, and it was a lot of work, and it is still evolving. But in any event, the Spiritual War Guide is available through my Infinity's Ascension portal on my website. You just need to join. You need to ask to have access to it. I ask for a donation in divine reciprocity. It is behind a very special type of paywall that has no specific dollar amount set to it, other than whatever you're guided to with pure intention. And then you get access to it, and then you can read it, make a copy of it, take notes with it, come back to the portal, talk about it, ask questions about it. That's why I created the portal in the first place, truly, is so people can digest and consume and process the Spiritual War Guide, and then have a place to discuss how they feel about it, their experiences before, during, and after, and really consciously marinate and absorb the reality that we live in and what the spiritual war is, and know that ascension that is not at all separate from the spiritual war. They are intrinsically connected, always have been, always will be. And at times and thresholds and portals like this full moon coming, that we're in now, moving closer and closer to, and what it's bringing in, it's essential to understand everything that is involved with the spiritual war. And the guide that I created is like no other, and meant to really, really, really prepare you and set you up to be successful in aligning with the light, so you can maximize yourself, your life force energy, your timelines, even in the midst of all of this that's going on, and especially so. And that's the way it is meant to be. And with that, I thank you again for being guided to this, my new podcast, Ascending Empaths. This is about healing. It's about the spirituality. It's about the spiritual war. It's about aligning with the light. It's about reclaiming your soul, the Phoenix blueprints, the Phoenix temple, and everything that comes through that from your divine design, and what we're meant to do here as divine incarnates. And this is a whole new thing we got going on here, and this is just part of it. And I appreciate you for being here. You can send donations at any time through my website. I appreciate that. I do need money. I appreciate all the donations in divine reciprocity, now and always. And I thank you for being guided to receive and to stay open. More is coming. Expect miracles and magic and infinite blessings. And until next time, I'm Infinity, Divine Eternal Luminary. Blueprints of Gabriel and the Phoenix, here to stand with my soul family and move forward. United as one. Sending lots of love. Now and always. Bye for now.